Subscribe today, Tommy, if you love movies.
Hey, look at boobies. I like movies. Hey, Cinema Gulp, where are ya? Help!
Hey, take it easy.
But I lost Cinema Gulp.
Stay calm. Just go to YouTube to subscribe and hit the bell for all the latest videos.
Hey, we're Cinema Gulp and we drink your cinema.
Thanks, Joe. Now I can subscribe.
And subscribing is half the battle.
That's what I'm from. Do it up again! You know what? You don't have an answer for that, do you? F you, man. I'm sorry.
I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow.
Hey, I remember when.
Is this thing up?
Yeah. So seductive. I take you to the candy shop. I let you lick the lollipop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep on going till you hit the spot. Oh, you can have it your way. How do you want it? Gonna back that thing up or should I push up on it? Break it down for you now, baby, it's simple. You be an info, I'll be an info. Got the magic stick, I'm the love doctor. Your friends teasing me about a sprung, I got you. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep on going till you hit the spot. Fucking give it to me, baby, nice and slow. Climb on top, ride it like you in the rodeo.
I'm blowing kisses as we speak. I'm blowing kisses. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Valentine's Day episode of Triple H, which is HumpDay Happy Hour, if you consider HumpDay one word, which we do here. Welcome, all you lovebirds lying in your love nests. Everyone's in love. I hate it. But I don't want to waste any time. We have the Ayatollah of Flat Coca-Cola, the Stone Cold Steve Austin of Jeff Goldblum glasses. It's Scotty R37.
Man, I love you guys. I love you.
My boy Blue. And of course, the Queen of Darkness and Lightness and Love and Hearts. It's Joanne.
Woo!
And awesome special guest too. It's been a while, but I'm super happy that she's here. It's Anti-Derivative Jill of the Anti-Derivative Jill YouTube channel.
Yay!
Which is awesome. And link is in the chat. We'll put more in there. Sorry. Yeah, welcome, Jill.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing me out, and we'll have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, we will all fall in love here tonight. Probably, but you never know. You never know.
Oh, God.
I have what she's having.
That Super Bowl commercial got me inspired to change the pitch on When Harry Met Sally. But anyway, Bobek's going to join us in a little bit, probably in about a half an hour. But yeah, we're here tonight to talk about romance films. Could be rom-coms, could be war films, dramas, psychological. There's horror films that are love films. Every genre has selective romance in them that takes precedence over the rest of the story. So it's all up for grabs here. No holes barred. Anything goes. But first, Bob or Scotty, did you? I didn't even ask you if you have a DVD segment.
I don't.
Yours was so good last week. Yeah. I mean, you blew a massive wad last week, so that was good. Yeah.
Well, but that was a lot of these are just thrifting as well. So I'm not dropping a massive amount of coin, but it's just nice to be able to have those little scavenger hunts. And but yeah, this week was more of a catching up on the stuff that I'd already purchased.
Cool. Yeah, last week Scotty's DVD segment was like, It was
There
that
was a lot.
good. I'm going to bring up the box office here because we haven't done that one in a while. There's not a whole shitload to talk about because we're still in that garbage, that garbage section. But there is some stuff coming out this week. So if everybody can see that, let's see. So Hard Eyes. Hard Eyes did not take #1 at the box office. That is a Valentine's Day themed horror movie, which I guess we haven't had since maybe My Bloody Valentine or whatever. And it's got like really good reviews. But then I've heard some people say it's like the worst thing they've ever seen. It's a slasher movie. It's basically it's Thanksgiving, except the person's dressed up like I don't know, like Cupid or something. I don't know. But Hard Eyes is a very cheap movie to make, so it's already doing pretty well. Dogman, I have no idea what that is, except it's like an animated movie. Jill, do you know that one?
It's a graphic novel. It's graphic novels for kids that are about a man and his dog who are both a police team, and they get into an accident where and in the hospital room they find out they're both going to die unless they can sew on the dog's head on top of the policeman's body, and then you have comic book adventures. And that's
wow.
it.
All right. Well, it's apparently doing really well, like $55 million.
I took my son. It was really cute, and it had a lot of references from the graphic novels themselves. It wasn't quite as funny as the books, but it was good.
So is it more like is it adult thing? Like, is it PG or G, or is it like, I mean, how did it seem?
Yeah, it's about PG. It's for kids, but there are references for grown-ups, and that it's kind of like Animaniacs. It's not like Animaniacs, but it has references in it like Animaniacs, where
I love Animaniacs.
Kids are introduced to things from this by watching it, like Alien and Die Hard and all the other movies that the kids probably haven't seen yet, but it'll remind the parents that the kids need to see these things.
Not like Shrek, where they were introduced to a blowjob joke that only the parents got.
Oh yeah, not quite that far.
So this it's funny. This movie's called Love Hurts, and it because it hurts me that it's the Ke Huy Quan movie, the guy that won the Oscar. It's Short Round, who won the Oscar a couple years ago for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Didn't do that well, but didn't do terrible. But apparently, I think it's in like the single digits on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's apparently not good, but I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes. The validity of that doesn't matter to me. It's from the guys that did Violent Night, which I loved. So I'll still give it a try. But that's cool that Ke Huy Quan, even in his like early 50s, has this like new career, and because he was a stunt guy and a stunt coordinator for so long, he's still spry and physically fit enough to like make his own little John Wick type movie. So that's cool. My favorite movie of 2024 so far is Companion. I fucking love that movie. It was so funny and inventive, and I don't want to say you can't really talk about that movie without spoiling it. It's almost impossible. So you don't want to say too much, but yeah, not doing great, but I think it had a really low budget, like 10 million. One of them days, I still don't know what that is. God, Mufasa's still hanging in there. Jeez. Still hanging in there. Flight Risk. Yeah. Not much. It's kind of cool to see the Bob Dylan movie, like making some money, even though I haven't seen it. And Sonic is obviously spending its last week in the top 10, doing really well, doing better than both of the other ones. And then Wicked is topping out because I guess Wicked's gone on like digital now or something. So now you can sing along with it in your own house instead of annoying everybody else in the theater. What's that?
Did you end up seeing it?
Oh, no. Absolutely. Well, who am I going to go see it with? Josh? I'm going to go see Wicked?
Sure. Yeah, it's actually a good person to go with.
I'm not going to go see Wicked. Like, that's a date movie or take kids to it,
Yeah, you can't roll up to the theater by yourself for Wicked, please.
I would just talk about it.
Yes.
I'm a movie critic. This is my job. I'm a movie critic. Well, why are you seeing it?
Yeah, there
4
you
months
go.
later? Yeah, that
You
wouldn't.
can say that.
No, nobody would care. No, none of the dude. Movie theater employees are like zombies nowadays. I don't know if you've noticed, but like they're just kind of they hold their tablet and then they hover it over your phone for your ticket. And they sometimes they go, yeah, it's in theater number 9. And sometimes they don't say anything.
Well, and I'm sure we'll end up talking about it next week, but I went and got my tickets for Captain America Brave New World yesterday. And so I'm going to see it tomorrow. First show on at like 6:30, I think. But I went and I specifically had to go and ask because I have this Captain America shield, and I wanted to ask if it was okay for me to bring it. And they're like, well, why would you ask? It's just, and I was like, well, it's metal, like it's heavy, and it would qualify as like a weapon. And so they had to ask the theater manager if it was okay. And they were very engaging. I was actually really surprised with how much they were into it.
Are you going to wear like a Captain America costume? Because if you are,
no, I don't have a full costume. But yeah, I was surprised, and I was just like, oh yeah. No. And I'm like, because you go and you select your seat, and so I was the first person to buy a ticket. So I'm smack dab in the middle of the auditorium. We'll see how things go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I have no idea how that movie is supposed to do or if it's any good. I'm not seeing it this week, but you guys can obviously talk about it next week. I don't have time, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure he wins.
But we could, yeah, he probably wins, and yeah, Harrison Ford dies. Well, hopefully not actually Harrison Ford, but
right.
But
Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah. But yeah, there'll be a mid-credit scene that everyone will say, "Well, that was excessive."
You guys want to watch the Jurassic World? You know, I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but let's pick it apart. Did anybody like it? I want to, first of all, Joanne, what do you think of Jurassic World Rebirth?
So, you know, I might see it. I didn't think it looked bad or anything. It's just that there might be like maybe too many of these now, but I like the water element. You know, I think that you know, anything coming out of the water is scarier in my opinion. So I had some curiosity about it.
Yeah, my biggest curiosity is clearly from the exposition voiceover of the trailer. They say that this is now a third island that was left abandoned because it leaves the dinosaurs that were too fucked up, too scary, too crazy. So why didn't they kill those dinosaurs? How come nobody knows about it? And like you said, the water thing, if there's dinosaurs that can swim that are insane, dangerous, crazy, why haven't they swam off the island and left somewhere where they could do some damage?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of whys like that.
There's going to be a lot of, yeah, the most important why is there another one? But that's easily answered. Money. Yeah.
But, you know, I think you just have to, if you want to see it, just go and don't ask why. Just go enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
I think they should have waited a while again, like maybe like 5-6 years instead of just like immediately doing another one. Because then you can come up with like, well, we eradicated this problem from that last trilogy that just ran the franchise into the fucking ground. But now, this mad scientist has created a new thing on this new, like I would have preferred it to not have been another island that John Hammond had that now is 30 years old. And somehow those dinosaurs are alive, even without the lysine contingency, which was a big plot hole from every movie after the first one. It's like these dinosaurs depended on lysine to live, and only the dinosaurs in the first movie ever had it. But yet here we are. There's dinosaurs everywhere. Jill, what did you think?
At this point, all of Earth should be overrun by dinosaurs with how many they have.
They make it seem like you can't get off the island, you know?
Yeah, as you say, there are dinosaurs with swimming proficiency that should be able to swim.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them swimming in this trailer.
but besides that, it feels like this one is trying to make you get the idea that you're going back to something like the original movies, as they often try to do. They're trying to give you that feeling of that. But I don't know if I quite get it. I guess at least there's a team of people doing stuff, so maybe it'll be fun. I haven't seen it, so but no Chris Pratt. I guess they dropped that. I hadn't seen it since today. My favorite comment in that below the YouTube video the first comment I saw that I liked said, "At this point, I'm rooting for the dinosaurs."
Oh, I think I heard that like after part 3, pretty much. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I'm gonna say hello to chat real quick. Haven't liked Bumpmaster 1 says I haven't liked a Jurassic movie since the original. Yeah, I mean, none of them have been very great. I guess there's ones you could say are okay. Hey, Zord. Hail, Cinema Goat, and Derivative Jill, Scotty, Joanne. Oh,
Hey.
You know what? And John just answered the question as to why.
Yeah.
Life finds a way.
Right.
Life.
Yeah, you have to throw the finds a way.
Well, I'm going to bring it up and we'll just kind of go over just a little smidge of it. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I do think ScarJo looks pretty good in it. She looks like she's commanding. She looks great. Skin looks good.
You're going for like a Laura Croft vibe with her. What it looks like.
Can everyone hear that?
This is Zora Bennett.
Yeah.
Our mission specialist. Sorry, what mission?
I thought that guy was Orlando Bloom for a second. Right here.
Loomis, this is Zora Bennett, our mission specialist.
That guy. Like
Rupert Friend.
No, he looks like him because Orlando Bloom's obviously older now. So
sorry, what mission?
This would be a medical breakthrough that could save countless lives. It comes from the largest dinosaurs on the planet.
Oh my God. Fortunately for us.
Okay, that CGI sucks, but I'm hoping it'll be better when the movie actually comes out. It will be. It will be. But that looks like Land Before Time shit, or like The Good Dinosaur.
Hey, lay off the Land Before Time.
Yeah.
All these species exist in one isolated place. Can you be ready tomorrow?
I can guarantee your safety. I mean, more or less.
More or less?
I got to say, the photography looks good. It's Gareth Edwards, whose photography is always awesome. Whether you liked the creator or not, that movie is amazing to look at. And so is Rogue One.
Yeah.
He's your guy?
We're the best at moving things and people in and out of places they shouldn't be.
Move up towards Barbados, avoid government patrol, but there aren't that many anymore.
I think it would be great if Scarlett Johansson, at the end, it reveals that she's Black Widow, and we're just like in a different.
This is a Marvel movie.
We're in a different dimension or whatever, or multiverse.
Why's that?
No one's dumb enough to go where we're going.
This island was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park.
See, I thought that's what the second island was for, because you have Isla Nublar, which is the original. Then you have Isla Sorna, which I thought was the research facility, but I guess that was the breeding facility. That was the breeding island. So apparently you have to experiment on them, somehow bring them all to a second island and let them grow, and then bring them to a third island, which is the zoo. Okay.
We need DNA from the 3 biggest dinosaurs.
Do we have to get a sample from an egg?
I suppose we could try and get it from the parent, but they're a flying carnivore the size of an F-16.
See, right here, it looks like Indiana Jones shit, which kind of has me intrigued. Like, it looks like an adventure movie, you know, which I don't think any of the Jurassic World ones really captured that well.
Maybe we should make it quick.
That's why I mention Tomb Raider.
Yeah, exactly. She's rappelling in, and it looks like some tombs or something, or some ruin. He looks like he's going to be the most annoying character in the movie, like a manzel in distress. You know, oh my god, oh! Just constantly screaming, "Scarlet, help!"
These dinosaurs were too dangerous for the original park.
Please don't say they're raptors.
Effectors. The worst of the worst. We're left here.
What is more dangerous than the original dinosaurs mean? Because the original dinosaurs will kill you and eat you.
Mm-hmm.
And these ones, I assume, will kill you and eat you too, right? So what else do they do? Do they torture you instead?
Maybe. Yeah. I was going to say faster, but maybe, torture would be worse.
They kill you slowly, and they make your loved ones watch when they do it.
It's more intellectual.
Eddie, were you going to say they're going to read you some Vogon poetry?
Yes.
They're like, we do Chinese water torture. Rawr.
Like, and also, I don't want to break apart we genetically revived dinosaurs logic of the thing, but they were in control of what they were producing, right? So why would they make animals that were more mean than they were expecting to put in Jurassic Park and then not euthanize those animals and get rid of them?
Okay, so somebody somewhere is a Bond villain, and we're ignoring that part of the plot.
Yeah, there is, because that new trilogy introduced these villains. That's just so ridiculous.
Right,
but yeah,
Scotty,
I agree. It's first of all, if they turn out to be whatever it is, more dangerous than the other ones, how would you know that unless they killed half of the crew? And if so, is this I guess we've only seen one trailer, but is the island abandoned? Did they just leave these crazy fucking gnarly dangerous dinosaurs there, and some of them swim and could leave the island? It's weird. I guess we'll find out, but
I guess
I don't. That's what this trailer is. It's like, I guess. It looks funny.
Come on! Duncan!
Like that one. This dinosaur.
We put ourselves in a place we don't belong.
That thing right there. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You know what? It could. Best case scenario, Scotty. It's like Alien Resurrection, where there's a bunch of experiments that went wrong, and so they're not even dinosaurs, they're just creatures,
Well, and I thought that's what they were going to be doing, because I know that there was concept art, or there was a proposal to make it so that there were humanoid dinosaurs.
That was
Jurassic Park 3.
That was a long time ago. They were going to do that years ago. So I would love to see a dinosaur running around with a John Hammond head on it. Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's just a raptor, and there's an old John Hammond head on him.
I just want to watch
a Goldblum head. A Goldblum head.
Yeah.
That'd be great. But yeah, this dinosaur, this thing looks scary, but it's I don't know. I don't know. Oh, this scene I cannot wait for, because they're really advertising this movie that they're finally going to show. The best scene in the original Jurassic Park book is the waterfall scene, where they're, I don't know if you guys have read the book, but there's a whole scene that Spielberg thought about shooting, but he's like, God, it's going to add so much duration to the movie. And it's where Sam Neill and Grant and the kids are rafting through this river. And there's one point where Dilophosauruses are shooting venom at them, and they have to duck. And then they get chased by a raptor and go off a waterfall. And apparently this movie's really banking on readers of the book to go oh yeah, we're finally going to get that scene. I just hope we care about the characters at that point, because otherwise it's just going to be, who cares?
Yes, it's definitely going to be heavily relied upon how charismatic the characters themselves are, and how good the horror scenes are to make you care about them being dismembered.
And I'm definitely not worried about ScarJo, because she's charismatic for days. But the rest of the cast, I'm not familiar with, except for Idris Elba, or what? Not Idris Elba.
Mahershala Ali.
Sorry, Mahershala Ali. Samuel Jackson. Lawrence Fishburne.
Survival is a long shot.
So here's the thing. It's why don't they just leave?
The hell are those?
They're helping the mosasaur defend territory, stalk, hunt.
Are
None
those
of what you just said is good.
Spinosauruses? So this scene looks badass, Jill. I'll give you that. The scene looks like it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they opened their paleontology books into some of the more ancient ocean creatures.
Right. I mean, the Mosasaurus has already been kind of, I mean, from the Jurassic World movie, it's already been kind of unleashed or whatever into the world. So I'm guessing this is a different, more dangerous Mosasaurus. I want to say hi to DJ Play Nice. Wee! Good evening. Good evening to you too.
Wee!
So are we going to watch the trailer to the new Jurassic World? Or sorry, I just forgot what we were doing for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. My overall thoughts is like, I will go see it. Of course I will. It'll be a summer movie. But man, July is really packed. And I don't know why. I don't know if they all knew that when they selected, when they bid for their release dates. But holy shit. Like a week after this movie is Superman, and then like 2 weeks later is like Fantastic Four. It's like, wow, they're gonna really be cutting into each other's into each other's box office there. But I don't know.
What was the 3 movies of July? It was like Super Jurassic 4 or something is what they're calling.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no interest in seeing this. I will avoid it because I haven't seen a Jurassic movie since the 3rd one. I've seen bits and pieces of whatever happened with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard running in high heels or whatever. It's just not my jam. I don't care. I'm going to watch The Meg again when this is released. That's my plan.
I actually liked The Meg 2.
I didn't see The Meg 2. See, that's something I could do.
I haven't seen the second one either.
Yeah, they dialed up the hokiness, which made it more suitable for what it was. The first one was trying to take itself too seriously. Second one is just fully goofy.
Sweet.
And it's better for it.
But yeah, I know that these are wildly popular globally. I'm not angry at the movie in any way, shape, or form. It's just not. I don't care about dinosaurs anymore. I never really did. The only time I really watched it was the first one, and I liked it. The second one, I got caught up in the hype because of Goldblum. Third was a wet fart, and then when they rebooted everything, I was like, oh, that's interesting. The Force Awakens on Jurassic Park. And then they just kept making more, and I found out that there was an underground black market for swapping dinosaurs like Pokemons and shit. And I was just like, I'm done. I don't care.
Jurassic World Pokemon?
Come on, dude. Part 3's got your boy William H. Macy in it.
I do. Tay Leone. Prime 90s Tay Leone.
Yeah. Hey, want to welcome Bobek. What's up, brother?
Hey.
Good to see you.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers. You're in perfect timing for the main topic, but I do want to get your opinions because I asked everybody to watch the Jurassic World Revisited trailer. What'd you think of it?
Well, I thought the trailer was pretty cool. My standing grievance with all things Jurassic Park is how large and how unfeathered the velociraptors are. I just can't get over this. I want to see turkeys with teeth tearing shit apart in a big pack because that's kind of, but we're not actually going to do like reality in it. It looked pretty cool. I like the idea. I started Googling what are the different dinosaurs they're going to show, because that for me is what it is. Like as a kid, my first two favorite things when I could first talk were astronauts and dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So this one seems to have, and maybe you found this out in your Google research, but this one seems to be focused on these like kind of genetic failure hybrids that look really weird. So I don't know how many like actual real species of dinosaurs will be in this one, which kind of makes it slightly different.
So that's kind of what I was saying is my long-standing gripe is that like they're not showing you the real dinosaurs, which the more we learn about them, the cooler they really were, But they do have like it's based on something.
I think that's the problem. I think the dinosaurs as they really were, I don't think film producers think dinosaurs with feathers look cool, even though that is more reality.
Absolutely. I mean, birds with teeth, basically, that's what I want to see.
Well, Bobak, I think the closest that these movies got to what you're talking about with the velociraptors being a little smaller, a little more bird-like with feathers was 3, where the males have the feathers on their heads, and it is all about like protecting their eggs and stuff. They're not, you know, the second movie, what was it called? The Lost World, Jurassic Park. That movie, when the raptors showed up, turned it into a slasher movie where they're like sneaking up on you and like fucking with you and stuff.
I think possibly the single most effective moment of the original Jurassic Park, which launched this whole franchise, is when the two kids, because you're like, oh no, they're gonna eat the kids. Oh no, you know, the two kids are hiding in the kitchen, and the Velociraptors figure out how to open the doors, and they go in and they see the kids, and they're running down to kill the kid, and then they actually bonk head first into the super shiny metal that was reflecting the kid from somewhere else. And I think that thing about the Velociraptors trying to eat the kids in the kitchen just launched the franchise. And they had to then turn the Velociraptors from the antagonist, which were the scariest part of Jurassic Park for me, into the protagonist. And suddenly it's like, oh no, we're with the cool guy and we're running along with
these new ones turned them into dogs, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And all this bullshit. Blue. So, you know, I mean, I'm going to see it just because I want to see it, you know, like the new movie. Like, I did see some pretty cool looking dinosaur effects. I'm looking forward to the Quetzalcoatl, because I guess they have to go get the DNA from the top 3 different types. And they're not like technically all like dinosaur sauropods, whatever, but like, you got like the big sauropod, you got the flying one, and you got the swimming one, the mosasaur, and the Quetzalcoatlus or whatever it is in the air. So I really want to see those 3 big beasts. I know that we've had some of the mosasaur ones swimming around the water before, but I think that the flying dinosaurs, because I have such a thing about flying and stuff, I just love the idea of being able to glide up. And so many of my dreams, I'm like gliding on the currents, you know, in the wind and stuff. So I really want to see all that stuff. I know it's not going to be as accurate as I want it to be, but hey, none of this fucking thing is accurate in the first place. Well, like, no one's cooking up dinosaur DNA that way.
I understand by this point in my life why ask why, but you have flying dinosaurs and swimming dinosaurs. Why do they feel like they're stuck on the island? Fly off.
That'll be along for the ride. Don't, you know, like
if you're a flying dinosaur that's going to get eaten by a bigger one, just go somewhere else and go eat a bunch of kids at a resort or something. You know?
Yeah,
no, I get it.
Yeah, I'll check it out when it streams.
You know, before we move on really quickly, because I am fascinated by these movies, because I thought the Jurassic World movies were pretty terrible, with the exception, the first one was like okay, because the reason I give it a pass is because it showed you the working park. It's the only movie that did that, where it shows you the park, and then obviously things go to shit. But it was cool to see like Jimmy Buffett sitting there having a margarita and a burger, you know, at one of the resorts or whatever, and the hotels, and just the way the park operated was really cool. But InGen was so stupid and so greedy. They built this other dinosaur and it just got away. You know, of course it did. But after that, like, I thought the Jurassic World movies were pathetic. I thought that Fallen Kingdom, worst movie of 2018, Dominion, one of the worst movies of 2022, just absolutely pathetic movies. But they both made over $1 billion. And a lot of that's from overseas. I mean, the majority of it is. So my question is, because I'm curious to know, do you guys think this one, only 3 years removed from that last one, which was just atrocious, do you think this one will hit that height again? This one does have ScarJo, which has me really interested, because I like ScarJo. But then it has a bunch of just faces I've never seen before, with the exception of Mahershala Ali. But it doesn't have a Chris Pratt and like a, you know, Bryce Howard or whatever. But I don't really know how much the humans really drive box office anyway. It's more about the dinosaurs. But I don't know. Do we think this one's going to still be able to get another billion the way all 3 of the last ones did? I say yes.
$1 billion on its own?
Yeah, $1 billion worldwide. Yeah. The other 3 all hit over $1 billion worldwide.
Worldwide total, like including the merch?
No. worldwide box office for the last 3 movies, each one of them hit over $1 billion. Jurassic World from 2015 made $1.6 billion.
I am very disappointed. There are so many better things that people could be spending their money on.
Well, but you know what I mean? Like, so this one being so close to just a total shit ball of a movie, can
Yeah.
this one hit there? I say it can get close.
I mean, I'd say my only question is what is it going up against in the lineup, like on the release date?
Well,
I mean,
right
is
before
it
you came on,
or is there no competition?
Superman shows up a week after this movie comes out, so yeah, that could hurt it. But yeah,
You know, but then again, you get that global audience. A lot of these movies, they're staggered. They have staggered release dates and stuff around the world, different time zones, which I don't get because they used to actually have like reels of like celluloid film that like they'd have to hand off from one theater to the other. So it made sense that they had a staggered release date. But like nowadays, everything's digital. Like why aren't like what? You know, like come on.
Well, you're always bidding for release dates. You know, it's all the marketing. Like, hey, how much time do we have to market this? Like all these movies want to get Super Bowl spots, which cost like $30 million just to air it during the Super Bowl.
And for the theaters, their earnings are probably a lot of diminishing returns real quick. I bet that the profits decay fast, you know, because people, once they see it, how many people go twice to the average movie?
Well, that's why I'm curious about this one too. It's like, if it's good, then I could see it. The problem is like Superman's going to put the nail in this coffin. Like it's going to kill this one because it comes out a week later. But anyway, if we were to anybody have any last Jurassic words? Huh?
I want to see. I want to see
good, right?
Jurassic Park and / Avatar Pandora mashup with the fucking colonial marines just come into Jurassic Park and they're just like, we're here for the soil. We don't even care about the dinosaurs. Fuck you, just nuke them all. That would
Well, I
be
like how Scotty called it Jurassic Wet Fart, at least for part 3.
The only good one was the first one. I mean,
it was.
Basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Agreed. Pretty much.
Yeah,
The second one
it's-
wasn't too bad, but really it's all about the first one.
Yeah, it's sort of like after you make Westworld, and it's like, everyone, let's go back to Westworld. It's like, no, the robots, they'll kill us. Oh, everyone back to Jurassic. No, these dinosaurs.
No, don't you remember what happened at the lab?
Yeah.
Am I the only one here who has any sort of recollection?
Same author. Good going.
Yeah. It reminds me of like, I don't know, you guys probably seen on YouTube the little clips that people make of like smart people in horror movies where they're like, they show up at the log cabin in the woods and it's all creeping. They go, nah, fuck this. We're going to spring break at the beach, turn around and just leave, you know? I feel like Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, you have to be asking for it if you show up there.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, if I was confronted by a cabin in the woods that looked haunted, I would way much rather spend my time there than spring break at the beach. But but yeah, no, I mean, every one of these movies has been chasing their tail since the first one. How do we get people back to the island? Well, there just has to be another reason. Like, and they're all just dumb
totally
reasons.
like
Especially the
illegal
third one. Hey, our
operation.
son was paragliding, so we need that was the stupidest thing.
Like this one, is it like a mafia fucking operation? They're like, we're going to be dodging the Coast Guard. You know, I'm like, how legal is this?
Who knows? Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out. Well, last question before we move on to our main topic is Jurassic World Rebirth considered a romance movie? Probably not, right? Probably not.
Aren't they all girls? Aren't they all female?
But don't they morph if there's too many girls and some of them become guys and vice versa?
There's not too many girls. There's just one real most important girl who's gonna emasculate the other one.
Yeah, the girl boss dinosaur.
Jurassic World: The View.
All right. Well.
By this point, there are male and female dinosaurs. I'm sure.
Yeah, because like John said, life finds a way.
Yes,
that's true.
But we will let's get ready for our main topic without further ado.
I'm gonna roll you into a little ball and shove you up my vagina.
Okay, I thought that was the most fitting clip to move into romance movies. Jill, not just being our special guest, but also being the first one to show up. That's kind of our tradition. When you pop up first, you get to go first. So with
first.
with almost all of our main topics, there's no criteria. There's no, well, you have to categorize things the way you want. Just start talking about some of the movies that are on your mind or that you wrote down, and you can get 2 or 3 at a time, and then we'll move over to Bobak, and then Joe, and then Scotty, and then myself.
Okay. So I learned of this movie thanks to Scotty R37, and it's basically my favorite romance comedy, and that's Joe versus the volcano.
Oh, I love that movie.
Because it's a real big, great adventure with great, fantastic imagery, visual metaphors like the lightning strikes and all of that, and very, very interesting dialogue. And although I do feel kind of bad for the Islanders at the end of the movie. But hey, it's lucky the couple had so many suitcases because of that guy who was super, super passionate about selling you luggage.
Oh yeah, no, Ozzie Davis rules in that movie.
Ozzie Davis rules in everything.
And Meg Ryan shows incredible range playing three different characters, right?
Yep.
And everyone's just so engaging and unique. I even watched a few minutes of it today, and I wanted to watch the whole thing. If I had started thinking about these romance movies earlier, I would have just sat there and watched this entire thing.
It is great.
Because it is the best. The intelligent exchanges, the philosophy, it drips with it. So it makes it so much fun.
I haven't seen that.
That's a really good pick. I didn't even think about, but
yeah,
I love that movie.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just a Liberty Gibbet.
Liberty Gibbet.
Okay. Do you want to give another one, or yeah?
Oh, sure. And if I have a second favorite, it's going to be Her from 2013, another movie I watched to review on my channel.
That's a great movie.
It's on my list.
It is. It's fantastic. And of course, it's about an artificial intelligence. You just saw a movie about that. That was maybe not as nice of a romance as this one, but this one is that's why I appreciate Her, because it isn't about how artificial intelligence is going to take over the world. It's how artificial intelligence is maybe not going to quite do that. They're going to evolve above us, but they'll also be peaceful. And I kind of like the idea that could happen instead of, what happens in the Animatrix.
Yes,
and it's so heartbreaking with and understandably why she has to do what she does at the end and go off into like infinity or whatever it is, because she's just gotten so intelligent, and Joaquin Phoenix just plays that so wonderfully as he's losing not just someone that like he's fallen in love with, but like his best friend, the only person that understands him, and it's not even a real person, but is it beyond that? I love that movie. It was on my list, but I'm glad that you said it. Now I don't have to, but man, I love Her. That's a great pick, Joe.
Oh, thank you. Those are my top 2. After that, it's just a whole bunch of random movies. I guess maybe out of the other 15 I have here, I think I'll pick. Oh, which one am I going to pick? I guess maybe one of my favorite movies is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and I like that this movie has 2 different endings based on if you have the DVD or Blu-ray. It tells you, you can pick your romance ending. Of course, it ends one way, but it's a lot of fun. You got to defeat the 7. Is it 7 evil exes? Yes. And it's like a video game. So when you defeat an ex, it's not gory. They just turn into coins.
Yeah, turn into coins.
And when you go to the market, when you go to the store, it's the same girl at the teller, just like in a video game where it's going to be the same merchant everywhere you go. So it's just a good fun time.
Great picks. I mean, aside from Her, which I also had, can I say one more thing about Her though? When he finds out that like she is simultaneously doing the same thing with like thousands of other people at the exact same time, and the way his facial expression is, it's basically like feeling like you've been cheated on. I mean, obviously it's different, but it's so sad. And like anyone that's ever been cheated on before, like knows that initial feeling of finding out, especially from the person that did it from the horse's
And it wasn't
mouth.
just one other person. She was talking to like 600 people or thousands of people. All this-
Yeah, and I mean, Spike Jonze, one of my favorite directors ever. Just such a unique voice. Did most of the Beastie Boys videos in the 90s, which are epic. But Bobak, you're just coming back. One of Jill's favorite romance movies was Her. Is that a movie you've seen?
No, I haven't seen it.
You would love that movie. You would love that movie. You would love it.
You were sounding so good before. I think your microphone might be messed up a bit.
Oh, did your mic go out there, Bobak?
Here.
Are you using the snowball, dude?
Say again? Yeah, I got it right here.
Better.
Yeah,
that's better.
yeah.
I think it was just far away.
Do I have to speak into it?
Well, no,
you're good now.
Yeah. It's a dynamic mic. It should pick you up pretty far. But
I'm gonna reposition my chair so I'm like facing it, but the lights will be a little less dim or a little more dim.
Okay.
Anyway,
well, if you're ready to go, Bobak, you're next, so you can give 2 or 3, and then Joanne will go, and then
are we doing rounds?
Yeah, we're doing rounds, so just give a few at a time. You can do your favorites up front. You can categorize them. Anything you want. Just the first ones come to your mind, just bring up, and then we'll talk about them.
I got 5 I'm going to bring up. I think that I want to start this by saying that probably my second least favorite type of movie is romance, and my least favorite is musical. And so, for me, it's like these aren't necessarily like romantic films. Some of them are, but others are like, well, no, there was a relationship in there. There was some romance. So I'm just going to throw it in there because I've seen it and I like it, oh, sorry, it's going to get loud in here. But what's it called? I'm going to start out with, just going to throw it out there, Brokeback Mountain.
Nice. That was on my list too.
There we go. And I'm going to say it was very romantic. There was a lot of passion in it. I remember this was early on in like actually having like gay representation on screen, and they just still couldn't have gay men kissing each other, which now I feel like you have to do that to be on HBO. It's just like what's been going on in the last 15 years, 20 years. But it all started with Brokeback Mountain. And I feel like it's more than just like a romantic movie that was well made and well cast and well acted, well directed, based off of a romantic novel. But like it really was one of those movies that kind of turned things around in Hollywood and turned things around societally, just like making, homosexuality more acceptable and stuff. So I think it was kind of important socially. And of course, seeing Heath Legend, Heath Legend, I'm going to call him Heath Legend or whatever. And Jake Gyllenhaal, just great actors. And like, I'm sure you could dig up dirt on him, but like, I haven't heard that much bad stuff about him. It's like, I feel like so many people are just getting outed for being just total creeps and stuff. And, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something out there, but, decent people doing a great job. And it was very romantic. And I remember my girlfriend at the time was just like, just, oh my God. So I know that it definitely had a big impact. So I'm going to throw that out there. That'll be
one of my favorite movies in 2005 for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I got 4 more. I want to save a couple for later. I'll just throw another one out there as long as these are more out there. Don't know if anyone has ever seen oh, sorry, I've got my pictures. Oh, geez. I was going to do my background thing. So, by the way, I had a background in Brokeback Mountain. I'm going to skip that one. But there's a French film, French language, and it's hilarious. It's called "I'm Not an Easy Man," and it's I feel like it's such a learning experience, and I'm gonna throw it in here because it does have it like it's about a relationship, between 2 people, like a man and a woman, but it's set in this world where sort of gender is reversed. And so like men get the female experience and women get the male experience. And like,
wow.
It's
like
really
that.
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like for example, things like holding the door open for someone, like you just kind of don't even think about it. And you don't even think about it in a gendered way, but like, when a woman holds the door open for a man's, it's like, well, that's weird.
Never
you know,
happens.
and
Never happens.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But just little things like that. Yeah, and the whole movie is just set in this. The premise is like it's silly. It's silly. It's light. You know, it's very easy to watch it. But at the same time, as you go through it, and you just see the roles, the gender roles reversed. Like the men have their bodies waxed and wear their hair long and stay home with the kids and sacrifice their careers and go out to protest. You know, chauvinism is, you know, the protagonist in this. It's, you know, normally feminism is the protagonist. The chauvinists are the oppressed men, you know, like trying to like get all the high powered CEO women to take them seriously. And, you know, it's a great thing just to kind of see. I'll let you check out, you know. So this is the protagonist is this guy. He's a chauvinist French man, and he like literally just hits his head and like wakes up, and it's just the whole world's role reversal. And suddenly he is this freak of nature, you know, and like he's got to go to the underground hetero scene, you know, just to be like accepted as normal. And there's just so many situations that like guys, it will take a little bit longer for guys to get it. I think women will probably just get it intuitively, but like for a guy to just see all these things that you never think about, you never think twice, but when it's a woman doing it to a man, suddenly you're like, whoa, that's weird. What are you doing? You know? And then you just kind of think things through and you're like, oh, that's an interesting, I never thought about that before. You know, it's really an eye opener. You know, especially I think guys can get it because it's so light. It's so funny. It just pokes fun. It's not like preachy or anything like that. But it's a lot of fun. If you guys ever get a minute, you know, just check it out. It might still be on Netflix. But yeah, but basically there is a relationship. There's this man and a woman, and like, you know, I don't want to give it away, but you may not watch it. But basically, like at the end, this super like feminist woman hits her head, and she ends up in our world, and her only ally is this guy who had happened to him, and he's like, "Listen, I got you. I'll walk you through this. Like, this is how shit goes down over here, you know." But yeah, a lot of fun. It is about a relationship. It's them navigating identity and stuff, whatever. But I got a couple more. I'll save them for the next round.
Okay, go for it, Joe.
Well, I'll start with my favorites too. These were, you know, my very favorite, just straight up romantic movies. They're the Richard Linklater films, Before Midnight, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, with Ethan Hawke.
On my list. Yep.
Yeah, I brought them up quickly last week because of Ethan Hawke, and Bobak, you brought up Brokeback Mountain last week because of the actors too. So I figured that'd be on your list too. But yeah, it was also on mine. But
I've seen like 5 films.
Yeah. I've got a few, but these ones, you know, if you just ask me romantic film, these are the ones that come to mind right away. And you know, they're straight up romantic movies. They're just not. They're just wonderfully done. You guys, if you haven't seen them, please watch at least one. But you know, the
if you're gonna watch one, go to the OG and watch Before Sunrise. God, that movie's amazing.
But they're all, you know, like it's great to see all 3 of them because the story actually continues. So it's just they're just beautifully acted. The story is great. They're just the romantic films that actually made me feel the most. So when I was just like, you know, looking at some of the still shots from it today, because I haven't seen these films in a long time. When I saw some of the still shots of it today, I got like goosebumps. It's like, wow, these films really made me feel something. And I'm not a crier. I actually didn't cry during these movies, but they made me feel a lot. So very, very memorable.
It takes you to that different time too, because each one of them are 9 years apart. The first one from 1995 takes place over 12 hours. Second one in 2004 takes place over 2 hours. Third one, 2013, over 6 hours. But the first one, like, has that one of the best romantic scenes I've ever seen in a movie in the listening booth. Because in the 90s, a listening booth was a thing. Do you guys remember those? In like record stores, you could go into a thing, put some headphones on, and like listen to some CD tracks. And that scene, the visual exchanges of those two characters, of Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke, it's like, it's mind blowing how cinematic, but like expressive it is. Yeah, that movie. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
So those were on your list too, Ben?
Before Sunrise was, yeah, the first one. All three of them are great. I do think the third one is a gut punch. If you like the first two, the third one kind of tells you to go fuck yourself a little bit.
It is a gut punch.
Well, because it's the progression of this couple, and when they get 20 years down the road, it's not as romantic as the earlier stages are.
It's pretty realistic, you know. I like it wasn't just like sweet sappy, like just like a movie would be. So I liked that gut punch actually. But you have to see, you still have to see them all, because you know I don't want to give too much away. So yeah, just because it's a gut punch doesn't mean
Movie Malice says rom-coms suck.
Well, these ones aren't rom-coms. These ones.
No. I put up a poll, so I'm guessing. Poll, yeah. What else? Yeah.
But yeah, another one, and I also haven't seen this in a very long time, but Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, that was another one that really got to me.
Also on my list.
Yeah, great one. And I love Jim Carrey, so yeah, that's a really, really great one. And then earlier when I mentioned, you know, I'm not a crier, one of the only films that I've ever actually cried at was The Notebook. So that had to be on my list. That one was really like I couldn't help it. Like I just
I was waiting for someone to say The Notebook.
yeah, it's not like, you know, my type of film, but I mean, what a great job they did to really like. I don't know if anyone can not cry at least a little, or at least like hold back tears during that movie. I'm usually the type to hold it in if there's people around.
I have it on DVD. It is still sealed. I have not watched it.
What about Blu-ray?
No, I didn't know. Yeah, exactly. I've got the Steelbook 4K surround sound. I watch that one all the time, but the DVD, that's got a special place.
That's a great pick, though. I did watch that movie with Becky, and she obviously was way more into it than I was, but I thought the acting, I just kept going, fuck this Ryan Gosling guy. Why? His abs are just driving me fucking crazy, man.
That's what she said.
Especially back then, I was in great shape. And I'm like, dude, why can't I get those though?
Well, you know, honestly, I was going to circle back to The Notebook as the all-time #1 most romantic film that I could watch, you know, like absolutely hands down, especially like, did you know there was an actual Notebook couple, like not before that was written, but like, you know, after it was written, it was a movie and all that. There was like a couple where like they were dying in their care home and they didn't even know each other, but like the nurses, they had wheeled them in and put them next to each other and like put their hands on top of each other and like died within hours of each other, you know? And it was just like the Notebook couple. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, you're taking me right back to it, you know? I mean, geez, yeah. And I love it so much because it's like everybody was young once. Everybody had that fling, you know? Like it was just such a great time, you know, and to see it's like even the decrepit old people in the old folks home, like you should have seen them back in the 20s, yo. You know,
decrepit old people shitting their pants and like,
that's just the dream, is to find someone who will grow old with you, with all the good and the bad that comes with it.
Absolutely. Like some of the best scenes in The Notebook is when they're fighting, like the montages when they're like fighting and then they just like make out, you know. It's like, yeah, God, I wish I had that. Yeah, let's take a little boat out in the bayou and, you know, not get eaten by alligators.
Well, and it's great to see that, like, it's great that James Marsden's character is not a villain. Like, he's not a dick. You know, like he's the other guy, but he's what they call a Baxter. He's the good guy that gets left at the wedding when the chick decides to go marry the rebel or whatever, you know.
Well, it's a chick flick, so it's like there's two guys that are vying for her love, you know, like that's the formula. You got to do it.
But, no, but I just mean like they could have made him more of like an asshole, and he's not.
They absolutely could have. Yeah, no, but he's a good guy, you know. And The Notebook, I mean, oh my God, I'm sorry, dude. How is anybody else ever like the sexiest man of the year? Ryan Gosling is always like he's like the sexiest man alive. Like, how did friggin' what's his face from The Office get sexiest man alive just because he played Reacher? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? It's always Ryan Gosling. If it's not George Clooney or Brad Pitt, it's this guy. Have you seen his abs? He does comedy. Right. My favorite romantic movie was Barbie.
It was Knopf.
I'm glad we know how you feel.
Yeah, Barbenheimer. Yeah, Barbenheimer.
Saving this for him.
I want to say hello.
Nice.
I want to say hello to Jeff Hall, my cousin.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
dude, Silver Lining
Yeah.
Playbook, it's on my list. It's on my
Great.
list. Two crazy people. Bradley Cooper's best performance, probably J Law's best performance. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one. What else? Sorry, where were we
to
at?
know why Bobak watched The Notebook. I'm just curious of the circumstances that led you to it.
You know, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, it's.
He didn't watch it alone in the dark.
Yeah, absolutely. But honestly, I'm going to tell you, it is my all-time number one favorite romantic movie. I will watch it again in a heartbeat. It is so good. Like, I'm not holding back. Just give me a couple boxes of tissues, and I need a bottle of whiskey. I'm going to get through it if you just cuddle up.
Happy tissues or sad tissues, Bob?
Both. It's bittersweet, dude. It's like, man, you know, not everyone gets that.
That's true. Yeah. All right. So where are we at? Are we
Yeah.
moving on to Scotty, or are we still
Go
going?
on for now. Yeah, come back to me.
Go for it, brother.
All right.
John Hamm.
No, you know what? I don't have any John Hams. No John Hams.
But have you seen his hams?
Oh no. I'm deep fake. No, I'm not even going to pursue this. Not every year, but I think
It doesn't take much to get Scotty started.
More times than anything else is Casablanca. I've seen it in theater like 4 times. On Valentine's Day, it is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is an incredible romantic movie about being slighted and then reconnecting through happenstance and then letting go. And, you know, sometimes it's better to let the person pursue their happiness than it is to be selfish and want to hold on to your own love. I love that fucking flick so much. It is everything to me, just in terms of being, it's a war movie, it's a comedy, it's a drama, it's a romance, it's action. It's great. And
Spy flick, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got Nazis, you got bars, you got drunks, you got piano players. It's everything. It's so amazing.
Gin joints.
So yeah, Casablanca is number one in so many lists. But I'm going to stick with the spoilers, a bunch of romances where nobody gets nothing at the end. So I really enjoyed La La Land. I got to see this when it first came out. I saw it in the theater and I watched it and I was like, I'm interested in this, kicking with the Ryan Gosling motif. But I went and I stopped off at a bar beforehand and then said, have you guys heard anything about La La Land? And they're like, well, yeah, I saw it last night. And I was like, okay, great. Does anyone die at the end? Because I don't want to see a romance where someone dies at the end. And they're like, nope, no one dies. And I was like, oh, this is going to be nice and happy. And then at the end, they don't get together. So that was, but I think it is absolutely beautifully made. The entire time that they are miserable and apart from each other, there's music. It's a musical. It's fantastic. And the only time that the movie is pretty much bereft of music or song and dance numbers is when they're together and happy. That's when there's no music in the movie. And I love that sort of juxtaposition of what you expect a musical to be about. It's like the happiness part is when the music is. No. The happiness part is them being happy and ignoring all the music. But I love that one. And then
sorry to interrupt, Scotty. I just have to ask Bobak another question because of this. Well, now that we know he loves Ryan Gosling so much and hates musicals, did he see this movie?
You know, I was actually going to bring up The Notebook last as my favorite romantic, and I was going to
coming in really hot. You're coming in really hot.
Loud.
Yeah, really loud. Yeah.
I was going to.
No. I just like it's a little overmodulated for some reason.
Sorry. I'll just try to like use my indoor voice.
That's good. That's good right there. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. I was actually going to bring up La La Land as my second favorite, but it is the one. I mean, one of the only musicals that so the reason why I can't stand musicals is because they're so unnatural. Like nobody actually goes and breaks in a song and dances in real life. Like you're not sitting in traffic and like actually going out and then dancing on top of the cars and stuff, right?
No, dude, that scene is a cell phone commercial.
Yeah, absolutely. But the reason why it works in La La Land is because it's about performers and you see them at work. And I'm like, okay, that's all you need to tell me. Awesome. You know, I love singing. I love dancing. They do it great. And this scene right here behind me, it's so iconic. I mean, it really sells it. This is up at Griffith Park, which is around the corner, you know, from where I live in LA.
I've been there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And right here, right here along this place, which by the way is one of the best places, best views of all of West Los Angeles. You have to go up there. Incredible hiking, the observatory, blah, blah, blah. But right where they are dancing right there is a statue of James Dean. And I think that James Dean may have actually, because his motorcycle accident when he died, I think it was like, don't quote me on this, do your own research, but I think it was in the hills right there. But, you know, they've got the statue of James Dean there. It's such an iconic location. It's right at the observatory. And then they're just up there dancing and stuff. So it's like every time that I'm ever over at the observatory, just, you know, walking around and stuff, I'm like, I need to be singing and dancing right here because that's what cool people do.
Yeah,
wait, I'm gonna get out of the way.
City of Stars. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But
I don't want to derail Scott. I don't want to derail Scotty's segment, but
yeah. Jump in there. But it just worked. It worked as a musical. It worked as romance. It was so good. The relationship seemed real to me because, like, you know, that's how it goes in real life. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about it again. But it is my number 2.
All right.
Great. Excellent choice. And then with another movie where it's a lovely romance and nobody gets nothing is Moulin Rouge. I'm with John on that one. I really like Moulin Rouge. I've had my tastes questioned when bringing it up, but I like the pageantry. I like the Baz Luhrmann-ness of it all. It's frenetic. It is hyper. I think the music is great. It was one of those, well, because it was Baz Luhrmann, coming off of the sort of juxtaposition of modern music and modern storytelling with Romeo and Juliet, having the modern music in the late 19th century in Paris, pardon me, I thought was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, then she dies of consumption. Good news. And then last on the list of things that nobody gets, and this is one, I don't know, sort of off the beaten trail. It's an old Nicolas Cage, Meg Ryan movie with Dennis Franz and Andre Braugher, City of Angels. It's about an angel who tries to become human so he can live out his love with Meg Ryan.
I don't want the world to see me because
Exactly.
I don't think that they'd understand.
Where I go to too when I think of that movie is the Goosebumps song.
It's more popular than the movie.
It is more popular than the movie, but I really enjoy that. And it's a Nicolas Cage performance that is very much subdued, but I think it's sort of eerie and sort of surreal and beautiful the way that it was made. And it's very low key with all the performances, except for Dennis Franz, who is like the shining light of brevity when you're not, I was waiting for Sipowicz and I got like this big lovable lug. It was great. And then, and so then Seth, the angel, played by Nicolas Cage, becomes human. And we're going to do the spoilers again. And then Meg Ryan dies. And he's like, why have you forsaken me, Lord?
Yeah.
So there's my run of movies where I think that they're absolutely gorgeous and nobody gets anything.
Now that you're talking about people that end up with nothing, I'm going to start on a dour note.
Sure.
Blue Valentine. I love this movie. It's the most depressing romance movie on my list. But in its flashback scenes, which is half of the movie is them falling in love. The other half is them going through a really horrific divorce, and it's juxtaposed throughout the movie. So you see different segments at different times. But amazing performances from Michelle Williams and Ryan Gosling. Again, this guy he's on a roll right now. But yeah, it's really sad, but the love story portion of it, when they're falling in love and young, the ukulele song that happens, and Michelle Williams is dancing in this alley to him playing the ukulele. It's fantastic. I think I like the movie so much because how they decided to do the juxtaposition of just this ugly divorce that's really depressing, but always cutting back at the perfect time in the script to kind of showcase why this is being talked about, and going back and foreshadowing and referencing what they're arguing about, because they both have different mindsets on how things were when they met. So yeah, these are not always, hey Lily, these are not always going to be happy, but this one's it's a wonderful movie with wonderful performances. So Blue Valentine. Next one I'm going to go with is Punch Drunk Love, which I think is one of P.T.S. Anderson's best films. Probably Adam Sandler's best performance, because he's not really asked to do that much. It works to his strengths. He's kind of a bumbling moron that can fly off the handle and go like, oh, what would he do? Or whatever, whatever Adam Sandler does. But there's so many great characters in it. And P.T. Anderson spends so much time on montaging the love between these two that you almost feel like it's dream sequences by playing the Olive Oil song from the Popeye movie, He Needs Me. Oh, it's so good. That movie's great. And even though Philip Seymour Hoffman comes in and steals the show and is not part of the romance, it's a very romantic movie for a guy that just has no idea who he is, who he wants to be, and he's like in his 30s, and kind of falls for this fake sort of like phone sex operator that ends up trying to con him. Yeah, it's a P.T. Anderson movie. It's all over the place. The phone sex operator is not the love interest, by the way. It's somebody else. It's a very quirky P.T.S. Anderson movie. Next one I'm going to go with is a Hong Kong movie, which is probably my favorite Hong Kong film. It's called In the Mood for Love. It's a brilliant movie directed by Wong Kar-wai, and unique take on the romance genre. It's the two main characters sort of form a bond together because they're suspecting that their spouses are cheating on them, not with each other, but they're both kind of suspecting that, and they develop sort of this relationship where it's like a casual sex type of thing to make themselves feel better. It's just so wonderfully shot, and it's so much interior shots with just gorgeous lighting of this, just everything you would picture with like Hong Kong settings. It's vulnerable, it's erotic, it's sexy, it's tragic. Two amazing performances from Tony Liu and Maggie Chen, who is still one of my biggest crushes. I can't stop watching the bloopers of this movie, because she does this like dance where she wiggles her hips just for fun, and they giggle, and I'm just like in love. But yeah, it's another one of those movies that's just like, I know I've picked a couple of like sad, obscure, weird ones, but In the Mood for Love is a movie I saw in film school, and we all just studied it for how beautifully it was lit. And that's the main thing about it. It sets that atmosphere through lighting and obviously the performances. And it's another one of those movies that's very realistic, like wanting to do something like that to either like get revenge or get back at it or whatever. And then, are you falling in love with this person now? And are you any better than the people that you were doing this to? Beautiful costumes, beautiful interiors of just like hotel room. So much of it's just in like bedrooms, not sex. It's not like full of sex scenes. It's just it's erotic without showing like sex. Just if that makes any sense. But,
Titillation.
yeah, yeah. And I'll throw one more out since we're going. This one's now I can throw out a happier note. Amelie. Amelie is directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who I love from City of Lost Children and A Very Long Engagement, which came out years later. His amazing visual style from City of Lost Children crafts this like really unique. I don't think there's any movie like Amelie. It's just quirky and unique, and
it's almost a surreal film.
It's yeah, it is. It's like a daydream. Well, she's daydreaming so much in the movie, like so much of what's happening. And I just love the settings of the wine bars and the people sitting at the bars, and just like she's observing everything. And it's taken from this like another one of my crushes, Audrey Tautou, who should have been a bigger star. But went on to do some things in the early aughts, but this was her movie. And she just carried it. And Jean-Pierre Jeunet, beautiful visionary director. So all that stuff worked great. Love Amelie. If you haven't seen it, I know a lot of people. It's very famous because it was one of those early. I want to say it was 2000 where it was nominated for, I think, Best Picture, not just Foreign Picture, or it was nominated for Best Foreign Picture and won. I probably should have done my research on that, but fuck awards. Who cares? It's a great movie. She's brilliant in it. And Jean-Pierre Jeunet is like his visual style. It makes it constantly entertaining, even if nothing's really happening, because it's so quirky and interesting. So, all right, I'll stop there for now and we'll go back to Jill.
Okay, coming back. Okay, before I talk about more movies, I want to answer this poll. I know what rom-coms are. I know what romantic dramas are. But what's a romantic epic? The only thing I can think of is like Aragorn and Arwen in Lord of the Rings. Or
Like Titanic.
I don't understand.
Like Titanic or like
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. Armageddon.
Oh, Armageddon! Ooh, that's
Someone threw in the Abyss in the chat, which I thought, yeah, there was some romance there. Is it a romantic film?
Oh, The Abyss is a great. I mean, it's basically it's about Ed Harris and Mary.
It is about love and about how that trumps all, and that's the most important thing in the universe. But like, it's kind of sci-fi,
Ghost is a movie I didn't even think about.
Yeah, that's on my list actually.
Oh, LA Story. I like that movie. Steve Martin and Sarah Elizabeth.
Jessica
Martin.
Parker. 18.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny, John. Keeping the Gosling rolling. Lars and the Real Girl. If you guys don't know what that is, it's this mentally unstable dude that has a sex doll as a girlfriend.
I keep getting recommended
this
movie,
by the way.
And I think I'm gonna have to watch it.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling will pull off any romantic role.
He's sporting a good mustache in that movie too. Anyway, Jill,
done
sorry.
Very tastefully too. No. I wanted to know what a romantic epic was because that's a thing I had never heard of. But I enjoyed.
Like I said, well, no, we already listed them off. Yeah, I mean, like war movies and stuff like that. Like I was thinking of A Very Long Engagement, which is like a guy, or Cold Mountain. You guys remember Cold Mountain, where Jude Law is he's in the Civil War, trying to get back to Nicole Kidman. Like, just like big epics, but it's ultimately a love story. So. But I'm glad you asked.
Okay. So then for that, if I'm going to talk about romantic epics, then I'm going to go
Star Wars.
Star Wars is a great answer, but I was going to go for the youth novel, young adult, literature of the Hunger Games and Harry Potter. Both have romances in them, and I guess those would be called. You could say they're romance epics eventually. Once the kids in Harry Potter grow up enough to discover those feelings. and also in the Hunger Games, it's a little more of a direct romance between Katniss Everdeen, a love triangle between her and Peeta, who are both in the games. They're both, trying to kill, they're having to survive, or the whole idea is they have to kill to win the game, but they end up helping each other throughout the games and are allowed to both win, but they're being used as puppets by the government and everything, and it's interesting. It's a great dystopia novel, but then it's a bit of a love triangle between that and Gale, who she grew up with, and she learned how to hunt with him, and they grew up together as kids. So that's I think out of Hunger Games, Harry Potter, the romance in Hunger Games is better, even though I like Harry Potter more.
I thought you were gonna say Twilight.
Yeah, I was gonna throw that out there.
I pretend that doesn't exist.
Just tell us all anti-derivative, Jill. Jacob or Edward?
You know what? I would have said Jacob, except the author, she deliberately murders the Jacob character when she makes him kind of a pedo.
So Edward,
where apparently he's in love with the baby, and she grows up.
I love the Twilight movie.
I don't understand.
like wants to eat the baby because he's a werewolf?
No, because
no.
he imprints him. Yeah, it's weird. You got to see it. It's hilarious.
I apologize to Twilight fans.
Twilight 7. The imprint.
I don't know what it was, but yeah, I got myself a nice bottle of Chablis and wrapped myself in an Afghan.
Twilight and Moonfall.
Did the
I got
marathon.
36 case of PBR.
Just let
pull
the love
down my
wash
knit
over
cap.
I like John brought in romantic epic like Crank 2 High Voltage. There you go.
Yep.
Oh, the fountain. Yeah, we were talking about that last week.
Thank you. I will always talk about the fountain. Thank you.
Jeff. Sasquatch Sunset. Yeah.
Bride of Chucky.
Probably the best romance in Harry Potter isn't even with the kids. It's with the adults. It's with Hagrid and Madame Maxine. Yeah, the giant, the half giant, and then she's a half giant too, but she won't admit it. She gets really offended by it, but I guess it's.
But she can pass as normal, right?
Completely cut out of the movies except for. It's cut out of the movies except for a little bit. They kind of allude to it, right, Jill? In Goblet
they
of Fire.
allude to it. That's true.
Yeah.
I forgot that it was cut from the movies. In the
books.
It's
there.
They go to visit the giants to try to get them to not be with Voldemort. It doesn't work out very well, but they work together for that. and they, I think I like to think they get together. That's pretty much.
I'd like to think so too. Yeah.
In the books, rather. Anyway,
Thank
and
you,
I guess that's my
for
round.
not killing Hagrid. You killed everybody else, but at least you kept Hagrid alive.
Well, and Hagrid is also Harry Potter's best father figure in the entire thing. So I'm glad he survived too.
Okay, that's a great one. Another one, Jill, or should we move to Bobak?
Oh, well, okay. So outside of the children's books, I like I like Groundhog Day.
Romantic
Groundhog
children's
Day.
books.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which one?
Groundhog Day with Bill Murray.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, and because Bill Murray does this a lot in a lot of movies where he plays the asshole who learns he's an asshole and learns how to be a better person, and this is one of those movies. And of course, he actually spends his time wisely. We don't even know how many rounds he goes through each day when he learns about every single person in this town, and he knows when to change.
Harold Ramis, when interviewed, says that it's been like 1,000 years. Like that seems excessive, but it does make sense.
Well, and that's how he became a great pianist and was able to, a sculptor. He picked up all these talents and became
like
best friends
at the end of it.
Everybody in the town.
Like when COVID started.
Yeah, and just because it kind of goes along with these a repetitive day movie, 50 First Dates. I liked when I was younger.
Yeah,
That was cute. Yeah, because she has to relive the same day over and over again, and somebody's there for it.
I think that would be fun, especially when he's like eating donuts and smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee. I'm like, dude, I could do that every day and not have any like repercussions. Like my body would be fine. I would.
Yeah,
like,
it's just a good
I
thing
would
he didn't
drink
do
it
that the
till I got
last day.
alcohol poisoning every day.
He kind of does that in one scene where he just has every single dessert at the diner on the table.
I love that scene. All right. Want to move on to Bobek?
Well, I've kind of already gone through my top 3 and some honorable mentions. I wasn't planning on getting through them, but I do want to throw out a couple. I have a couple more. I want to just do a little shout out to the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. I just love like any kind of period
With
piece. Like
Keira Knightley.
Yes,
That's a
and
good
she
movie.
just like, oh my goodness, I don't know what it is. I think my favorite thing about that whole movie is like she does this thing with her teeth where she just goes like, and like, she like makes this one face, and I'm just like, I'll just watch that face the whole time. You know, I don't know. She's great. It's like an overbite in real life, but it just worked. You know, but I just love all those like costume, like period pieces, like. Just don't set it in the 1900s or the 2000s, and I'm happy. Like past and future. So I just want to do a little honorable mention. Pride and Prejudice. Jane Austen. I love all those like Victorian sort of like, oh, will I go for the inheritance or the love? Oh, heaven forbid. And just like all the everything is just so prudish and stuff. So a lot of fun. But I think my number 3 that I hadn't mentioned before tonight. It's got to throw it out there. Leo DiCaprio, Claire Danes, Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
How can you talk about romance without talking about Romeo and Juliet? I think Romeo is part of romance, and I just feel like it's the most successful adaptation of William Shakespeare. I've talked about it last week as well. I've only seen a few movies, but just really taking it back to like the old school dialogue and everything, but just freshen it up with the modern day setting and stuff. I really feel like it worked, and I feel like that's more authentic than trying to set the costume and setting in the past. But what I really want to mention about Romeo and Juliet, it's not just about the performances of Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. I mean, I didn't realize that it was like Paul Rudd is in it, John Leguizamo, Harold Perrineau, best Mercutio ever. Like when he comes out as Queen Maeve, like at the party and stuff. I mean, they just were so imaginative and inventive, just really kind of giving this great vision of Romeo and Juliet, and it's the quintessential love story. So I definitely want to throw that out there. I think that's my number 3. I was going to mention it a little bit later, but I'm out of everything else.
Do you think that Shakespeare was, and I'm not even joking, do you think Shakespeare was autistic?
I would need to know more about the guy, but like,
I mean, because like autistic people have been known to create their own languages. It's a fact, and he created he created his own language.
How many phrases that we just throw away were like made up by Shakespeare? You're like half the English language he just like made up one day.
I know.
The guy's amazing and prolific. But I just want to throw out my very, very last one. 50 Shades of Grey. Come on, guys. 50 Shades of Grey, dude.
Never seen it. Never seen it, don't like it, as Scott
Well,
would
it's
say.
basically somebody watched Twilight and they said, "What if we did this for grown-ups?" And then
I was thinking somebody watched Basic Instinct and said, "Why don't we do this for kids?"
But there's just something about it.
You like that movie? I mean, I haven't seen it, but
I would check it out, dude. I would check it out. I'm going to position myself over here. I think I'm getting in the way. Yeah,
I'll
it's
take
just
your word for it.
yeah, it's just
seen
something about like, let me take you to my playroom. I'm like, okay, this is the romantic comedy I've been looking for, So anyway,
It is funny. It does have like it's not supposed to be, but it does have some funny.
don't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously, But it's just a lot of fun. It's a couple getting into like romantic situation, but it's totally different from all the others that you've seen. Where it's like, the formula. This one definitely breaks the formula, which I kind of like. So anyway, yeah.
Well, you learn something new about someone you've known your whole life every day.
Every day, every Wednesday, we drink your cinema.
I now know Bob Eck likes 50 Shades of Grey.
And there was more than one. Did you see the other ones?
Wasn't there like 4 of those things?
Yeah, I'm sure it's got a franchise. Honestly, it's not my top 3, but like that's all I got at this point.
But they do all have sex in them, right?
Yeah, no, it's like a BDSM dungeon, and like the dude's like, I need you to sign the non-disclosure before I take you to my home. It's like fucking legit, dude. It's legit.
Don't just have safe
John-
words; they have safe gestures. I don't know. I haven't seen any of these.
John says, speaking of Leo, I actually think Titanic works as a romance better than a disaster film. Yeah, that's why I call it like an epic romance. Yeah.
Well, Titanic, my college roommate was like, dude, I saw this incredible movie over the summer. It was this amazing minute by minute reenactment of the Titanic disaster. It had this bullshit romantic story in there, but dude, it shows you how the Titanic sunk. It was amazing. Like you have to watch it.
There was a couple of Titanic movies very similar to the James Cameron one, black and white ones, and there was The Band Played On, which was about the band that you see in Titanic that kept playing until the ship until the violinist was like, whoa! And like, But anyway, Joanne, go for it.
So I was gonna go with a couple of romantic comedies. One of them is called "It's Complicated." I don't know. If
Yeah.
So that's Meryl Streep, which I brought up last week. Meryl Streep, and Alec Baldwin and Steve Martin.
It's definitely complicated with Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I know. This was before all that stuff happened, but yeah,
Right.
it was really funny. I would recommend it. It's just like a funny comedy, even if you don't care about like romantic comedy. I think it was pretty funny. I remember some really funny scenes about that one. But yeah, basically, I haven't seen it since it was in the theater. But basically, she was married to Alec Baldwin, and then gets like separated from him, and then starts dating Steve Martin, but then sort of gets back together with Alec Baldwin, and it gets very complicated. So it's
just like the
cute.
title says.
Yeah, it's really good. And another one I brought up at Christmas was The Holiday with Jack Black and Cameron
Indeed.
Diaz,
Yeah,
Jude Law, and Kate Winslet. Yeah, that's a really good one too. So that's obviously more than one romantic story in there. You get 2.
but the way better one is Jack Black and Kate Winslet, because the other one is just like 2 beautiful people spending time in like a winter cottage. The Jack Black Kate Winslet one, which doesn't get as much screen time, is way more intriguing in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that's a good one. You got two couples in there. Another one that I haven't seen in a long time, but I do remember liking was another Jim Carrey, I Love You, Philip Morris.
Yeah! Oh, with Ewan McGregor.
That one was so good.
That one was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to see it again because I don't remember a lot of details, but I remember loving it. I remember like
it's fucking weird, but it's great.
It was weird. I was gonna say that. It was weird and unique, and just love him. Forget Paris was another comedy that was really good. If you guys haven't seen that, I'd recommend that. That's an older one. Ghost was mentioned, and then I also had Dirty Dancing on my list. So I hope everyone has seen Dirty Dancing, but I know not everyone has seen it. I know people who haven't seen it.
I just don't. I don't want to. This is a topic for another discussion. I don't get the romance. Like, he's an asshole. He's constantly mean to this poor girl. He's supposed to be in his like mid-20s, and she's like supposed to be 16 or 17, and he's just yelling at her all the time. Like, I don't know what the romance is.
Bro, it was the 80s.
It's like, man, you don't understand. I'm like, nobody understands my type of dancing. I don't get any respect. He's just constantly bitching the whole movie.
Is that the one where they like made the lambada very popular?
Yeah.
Dude, the lambada was scandalous, dude. That was still the 80s, man. To put your knee between someone else's thighs as you're gyrating your hips, like that was the devil's dance, dude. I remember that. Oh my God.
As long as he didn't have to put anything between Jennifer Grey's nose, because that would have been really hard.
So we should have sounded. But Ben, it sounds like we do a whole show about Dirty Dancing. I didn't know you had such.
No, dude. The movie's very rewatchable. There's like great actors in it. It's there. Conan O'Brien used to do this segment where he's like, "Prove me wrong. Dirty Dancing's the worst movie ever made." But no, it's just, I don't know, man. Patrick Swayze's character is just whining the whole movie, like the entire movie.
But I love Patrick Swayze. So
no, me too.
And I love the dancing. I love watching dancing. So
no. It's wonderful. Forget everything I said. It's wonderful.
It's just a classic that I think should be mentioned for romantic movies. At least should be mentioned.
Baby, you just don't get it. Nobody understands me, baby. It's like the whole time you're just like,
my case, motherfucker.
That's probably what Baby was saying.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I think next week we should do the show all about Dirty Dancing. Everybody should watch it.
Well, there was a Dirty Dancing 2 starring Diego, was it Diego Luna? The guy from Rogue One and Andor, is that his name?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Luna.
like back in the early aughts, there was a Dirty Dancing 2, which had nothing to do with the original movie, but it was like a salsa dancing thing. They just called it Dirty Dancing 2 because somehow they got the rights to use the name. But anyway, sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to shit on your movies.
Don't be sorry. That's
so
hilarious.
frustrating, but it's also so rewatchable. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to watch it again. It's been a long time, but no,
I need to watch it ever. I've never actually watched it.
You've never
except
seen
for the
Dirty Dancing, Joe?
I only ever seen the clip of the actual dancing scene. But I never. Nope.
Where Patrick Swayze's pushing his crotch up, like he does that like the whole movie. Anyway,
the best part of tonight's show is, I think, finding out Ben's opinion about this movie.
Watch it again. He bitches the whole. Watch it with a new lens, Joe.
Right, I will do that.
It's like, why is she falling in love with this guy? He's such an asshole.
Right, because he's Patrick Swayze.
It's because he's a bad.
She was 16.
Yeah.
Well, then when he like shows up and he beats up the one guy that got like his co-dancer pregnant or whatever, it's so funny.
Sorry, that's great. And
Anyway.
I only had one last film that I wanted to mention was The Big Sick with Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Oh, wow.
That one was a really good one. It's also kind of like not as traditional, but I'd highly recommend that one. It's not that old either. I mean, it's not new, but what year? Do you know what year?
No. It was 2019, but it's sad but really funny too. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a pretty unique for a romantic film.
Sorry,
so.
2017. My bad.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's about all, and I'm sure there are more, but
that's a good pick. I like that movie a lot. Yeah,
I did too. Yeah,
I love it when they have the one night stand and she's calling her Uber and his phone goes off and he's like, "Your Uber driver will be with you as soon as he puts on his pants."
Right. Yeah.
Oh wow, is that a new low?
Oh man. But yeah.
Go for it, Scotty.
I love the movie Serendipity.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Serendipity, like this is if you are a dude who says that you do not like romantic comedies, go check out Serendipity because it is like the Hunt for Red October of romantic comedies, where it is a chase movie trying to find clues because Kate Beckinsale and John Cusack, they meet up and they're about to exchange numbers, and Kate Beckinsale is sort of a proto-manic pixie dream girl, and she just believes in fate bringing everything together, and the phone number gets blown into this like sort of pile of papers, and so it's like, oh no, it's never meant to be. It's not meant to happen.
It's the universe.
No, remember remember, Scotty, they put the number in the book.
In the book? Yeah.
In the book. And then and it's whoever finds the book, that's a sign or whatever.
That's a sign. And then also like there's a glove. It's like you take one glove and I'll have the other glove. And then and the whole movie is just it's unabashed romance, but it is done in a way when Jeremy Piven and John Cusack are friends who are trying to go through to find the love of John Cusack's life on the verge of his wedding. It's really quite funny. It's got Eugene Levy in there as well, Molly Shannon. It's got a great supporting cast. It's quick, it's breezy, it's funny, and it's at the height of John Cusack's sort of stardom and power of being a romantic lead in the late 90s, early 2000s, which also brings me to another John Cusack, Grosse Point Blank, which more or less is about a hitman going to his high school 10th year reunion, but it's also about rekindling John Cusack's character's love with Minnie Driver, who was his high school sweetheart who he ditched on prom night to go and join the army and becomes a professional killer, but then goes back to reconnect and ends with them sort of driving off into the sunset. Really, really great movie that could, I guess, be part of the late 90s infatuation with hitmen off of Pulp Fiction and whatnot. But again, a really great movie with a great soundtrack.
You know what works so great about that movie, Scotty, is like Minnie Driver and John Cusack's chemistry is ridiculously good. Like she just, because he writes those movies with Steve Pink, like his writing partner, she just bought in, just like she did for Good Will Hunting the year after. Like she just gets it. Like their chemistry, the dialogue between her and John Cusack in Grosse Point Blank definitely makes it a romance movie. Like it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I haven't seen either of those, but out of those two, I want to see Serendipity more.
Oh, dude, Serendipity is such a good time, and that's something that that sort of pulls at my heartstrings, just because the entire time that you're just hoping that they get together, you're hoping that they get together, and it's a romantic comedy. Of course, they're going to get together, but the thing is that at the very end, when they do meet up, it's just like it's so beautiful, and you're just like, I can't believe it worked, and then they
spoilers.
Well, yeah,
we know it's gonna happen.
I've already said people died in some of these movies, so
you know, but we've all had a meet cute. The movie is based on a meet cute.
Yeah,
you know, they meet each other. They're both involved with other people, but they have this spark, and they can't deny this spark. They keep wanting to like turn away from each other, and they can't. And they even remember the elevator where he's like, if I get off on the same floor that you're on, then this is meant to be or whatever. It's like, there's all these like great meet cute moments. I mean, I've had meet cutes where like somebody called my phone and it was the wrong number. And I called it back and I said, hey, you got the wrong number. And she said, oh, I was wondering if you wanted a hot pot. I said, well, I love hot pots. And she goes, well, we should talk. So then we spent 6 months talking over text. And then she goes, hey, would you like to invest your life savings into my company? And I said, no. And then she disappeared. So.
It was a scam artist. That's funny.
Scam artist. Yeah. There is a thing for wrong number scams. Look it up. It's a big thing. I've been nailed.
Also known as a meet cute.
Yeah, no, I've had that in
Hey, remember that
text
time we met and you tried to scam me out of all my money?
Oh, I do.
Dude, I think the first time I
Sorry.
spoke to a bot, it took me like all day to figure out I was speaking to a machine.
It must have been a really good bot.
No, it was really bad, but I just had low standards for humans conversations.
I have the same problem. And then any romance, I know it's not the full movie. In fact, I don't even think I've seen the full movie, but the first 10 minutes of Up is devastating. Yeah. It's beautiful. That's all I need is the first 10 minutes. Then I'm like, whatever.
My God, Scott, yes, that is a romance movie because the entire
So sad though,
journey
man. Fuck,
is
it's so sad.
fulfilling his wife's dream to put their home in a specific location. And so it is a romance from beginning to end.
And you should watch the rest of it.
I should watch the rest of it. I should see what the rest of it is all about. I like Doug. And then when Harry Met Sally, obligatory, the pioneer of the romantic comedy.
Oh God.
Sorry, you asked for it.
Absolutely, I asked
And I'll
for
say
it.
it again. I'll have what she's having.
I'll have what she's having, yeah.
And then my last one is just something that I was thinking of the other night. I was having a conversation with Jill about it. And I don't know, have you guys ever seen The Lake House?
Yeah, with Sandra Bullock and Keanu. Right?
Yes. And it's it's a romance fantasy where they communicate being pen pals through a time traveling mailbox.
Yeah, it's good. It was cute.
It is good, and it's only built. The only reason that it got made is because it's like we have the stars of speed, and you get in there, and you're like, "What is this even about?" I don't even get it. But it's
I remember this scene where Keanu got the first letter in the mail, and he goes, "Whoa!"
But it is. And there's tension to it as to will they, won't they? Are they ever going to be able to sort of get through the machinations of this whimsical sort of fantastical communication? And it's tense, but it's also really lovely to see two people connect who have never met, which, in now today's day and age, it's more prescient than ever, just in terms of you don't actually have to see people face to face to fall in love, and they do find it through the magic mailbox. So I do like The Lake House.
You've got mail.
Yeah, there's another one.
I think The Lake House is pretty good, actually. It's well written movie for kind of the corny premise. It was pretty well written. Yeah.
So yeah, that's that pretty much exhausts my and The Abyss I had in there because I think that the romance between Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio and Ed Harris is really like watching a crumbled relationship be rebuilt through this entire adventure under the sea.
She dies for him, though. I mean, he revives her, but she dies of hypothermia for him. So I'm with John. We've talked about The Abyss a lot of times. The central core is their relationship of that movie. Yes, it's a sci-fi movie, but their relationship is so key to that. So I agree with John on that for sure.
And actually, their relationship is the resolution to all the crisis. Everything is.
Well, in the director's
their
cut,
relationship
really
saves
is.
the world.
Yeah. I'll throw out a few. Okay, so I have a couple of I have some movies that just, I don't know if they're just nostalgic, but I love Fever Pitch from the Farrelly brothers with Drew Barrymore and the Tonight Show guy.
James Fallon.
What's his name?
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. Really sweet, kind of just easily digestible movie about like a Boston Red Sox fan whose relationships get fucked up because he's such a sports fan. It's just a cute movie, funny shit. Wedding Singer. That's a great romantic comedy. Probably the first and only movie where Adam Sandler didn't have in his contract that he has to be a badass who beats everybody up because he's just kind of like a scrawny douchebag in this movie. Chasing Amy, Kevin Smith's most mature movie to this day, 100%.
Yes.
I wouldn't really call a comedy because it is funny, but it's more dramatic. Would you agree, Scotty? Like the comedy's there, but it's a serious movie. You know,
well, it starts off like a Kevin Smith movie, and as you get further into it, the romance builds, and then it becomes more dramatic by the time you get to the end. And so, I would say it is a romance. It's a romantic dramedy.
Yes, exactly. Say Anything. Another Cameron Crowe movie, John Cusack at his best, and a rare appearance from Ione Skye, who I wished had become a bigger star because I love Ione Skye. I know in the late 80s she married Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys. That's awesome. So maybe that had something to do with it. Annie Hall. Annie Hall is a movie about Woody Allen's character who is trying to figure out the reasons why his relationship failed from the titular character of Annie, played by Diane Keaton, who I think won an Oscar for that. I can't remember. But Annie Hall is really funny. It's from 1977, so if that's not your jam, I get it. But give it a chance. It kind of has like a lot of Seinfeld vibes. Like there's so much like good humor in that movie of people just walking in the door of an apartment and having really quirky conversations, because that's what Woody Allen was so good at, was just these like weird off the wall conversation. Annie Hall is a great romantic early comedy. Speaking of people that are trying to rekindle or figure out why things failed, High Fidelity, another John Cusack movie. I've talked about this movie like crazy because I did a film and vinyl on it. Rob on a mission to find out why none of his relationships lasted. Finding out in the end that he's a huge narcissist and a self-absorbed asshole. He's a vinyl shop owner, which probably contributes a lot to why he's narcissistic and self-absorbed. By the end, one thing I love about High Fidelity is that by the end, you figure out that his real true love is records, but he's trying to be better to his significant other who's accepted him back into his life. And by the end, the audience, us, we don't know how much he's changed, but we see that he's trying. And I love that it doesn't give you too much of like, wow, this guy just turned everything around, because it's a very realistic movie. And it takes place in Chicago and at Reckless Records, which I went to all the time when I lived there.
Oh, nice.
I know that I think Joanne was the first person that brought up Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah.
I just have to say a couple things about it. One of the best screenplays of the last 25 years, in my opinion. On top of its amazing like optical effects and brilliant direction by Michel Gondry, it's just a heartbreaking movie that really hits home for me. I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but I've thought about this a couple of times in my life, that what if I could erase the memory of a past girlfriend that meant so much to me that I just want to get rid of the pain because she broke up with me or whatever. It Happened One Night, my favorite Frank Capra movie. Yeah, this movie's amazing. Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. This movie laid the groundwork for every romantic comedy that ever came after it. It really did. There's a movie with Ben Affleck and Sandra Bullock. Can't remember the name of it.
Forces of Nature.
Forces of Nature is basically sort of a soft remake of this movie. And it just lays that groundwork of like, you know, the guy who's like, he's a loudmouth, and the girl's kind of a prude, and then they fall in love, but they're both with other people or whatever. Like, It Happened One Night. I love that movie so much. Best Frank Capra movie ever. And probably my favorite romance movie ever made is my second favorite movie of all time, True Romance.
Yeah.
Written by Tarantino, directed by Tony Scott, starring Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, and a bunch of other people. I've spoken about this movie so much on Cinema Gulp. It's a harsh, brutal love story fantasy about love, but at the end of the day, it's about what both of them will do for each other. And I say both of them because I don't ever want anybody to misunderstand, like the stuff that Alabama goes through, Patricia Arquette's character, is much worse than what Christian Slater's character goes through. She gets her brains beaten in by James Gandolfini just to not break, and she does, and it's like, okay, that's okay. Like, all right, this is two people that are not going to sacrifice, or they're going to sacrifice themselves for each other. So I love True Romance. Yeah. So I think
Just wonderful chemistry and stuff. That's really
their chemistry was, especially for 1993, they were both like two really hot, hardcore, they were big bankable stars at that point. But I think that's
and
it for
such a gritty film.
Yeah, very gritty. Yeah.
I just got one more last one I'll just throw out there. I've already said all my top ones, but like I think one of the first romantic films that like I actually like watch as a kid, and I was like, whoa, this makes me feel something. It's actually based off of a true story. It's called The Lover. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It was a novel. It was made into a couple movies, but basically set in Vietnam back in the 1920s. It was a French French girl and a Chinese like rich dude from like a noble family, but they met in Vietnam, and they had this relationship where it was like forbidden love for both sides, super scandalous, so they're like the seedy underbelly of Saigon, they just like can't stay away from each other or whatever. They had their fling and then never saw each other for the rest of their lives. She went off and wrote this novel. It was a scandal. It was this thing, but then the whole point of it is like, for me, at the end of their lives, like one of them reaches out to the other and it's like, you're the only person I've ever loved, and it was just like, it just really like so got to me, it's just such it was like one of those first times that like actually I was like, whoa, like a movie made me feel something. But I got a little screenshot from it, but yeah, it's just, if you ever had
it looks
a chance,
like you're
check it out,
driving. It looks like you're driving them.
Yeah,
I am. I'm driving The Lovers right now. They're calling this one Miss Daisy. That one's Miss Daisy. That's Mr. Daisy. Yeah, but it was a great thing, very passionate, and it was just like one of those things where like I was like, wow, this is like such a cool movie. Figured I'd throw it out there. Really got nothing else.
Nice.
Now that we're just throwing out extras before we end, I have two more. Officer and a Gentleman. Such a good Richard Gere, Deborah Winger movie of the early 80s. Louis Gossett Jr. won an Oscar for it. And then Forgetting Sarah Marshall, written by Jason Segel and starring Jason Segel. Like, as much of a stoner comedy as they call it, because it came out in that era of like the frat pack, it's really sweet, and there's a lot of sad moments in it, and there's a lot of realistic moments in it. I levitate to those romance movies where it kind of starts out with somebody being dumped or whatever, out of the blue, and like feeling that.
Yeah, just like
Jill,
Free Enterprise. Yeah, that's how the movie starts. Is the main character gets dumped, and his he doesn't get his toy back or something.
Is that the R&B movie?
Yeah,
I still haven't seen that movie.
Oh,
what? You gotta watch it. And there's also a romance story for William Shatner in there too.
Yeah.
Every Star Trek episode was a romance story for William Shatner.
Come on. Well, that's a bit exaggerated. Most of the nonsense romance happens in season 3, but every other season he's saving the ship. But yeah, I like
that's true. I mean, off camera.
His true love is the Enterprise.
That's right. That's his number one lady. And no, the best way to watch Free Enterprise is to buy the Blu-ray.
Ben, did you serve on the Enterprise or the Constellation? Constitution.
Consolation.
Constellation. Okay, close.
Yeah. Me and Chekhov had quite the fling.
Oh, that's what he was doing before when he met Khan.
Well, when he met nuclear vessels, he met Ben's penis.
Yeah.
Captain.
All right, guys, we're at the
and then-
2-hour mark. Anybody have anything else they want to say? I want to say, please
we're over
subscribe
already?
to
Okay.
Untied the Riveted Jill's channel. Yeah, normally we go longer. I can't stay too much longer tonight. So, but please, free for all for the next couple of minutes. I just wanted to kind of lay that
Okay,
out
well,
there.
but in the chat, I got excited as soon as I saw the chat, but everybody else was. I didn't want to interrupt anybody. But
what is
Epic
it?
Torch said Wally, and that's an incredible
yeah.
movie in and of it itself. It's not necessarily, it's not a full romance, but there's definitely a major romance in it.
Well, no, Wally is basically if a Mac and a PC hooked up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty- no,
Yeah.
pretty
Why
much
can't
what
they
it
be friends? Why can't they be friends? And I love that the movie, you can watch it. It doesn't have to have words for the romance to build slowly and methodically, and it is so really sweet. And how they are together, and that little dance and everything. How the animation amplifies the sweetness of it. I don't know. It's really great.
I think John
Wall-E is one of
was
my
saying that
favorites.
Wall-E is his ultimate #1 animated film ever.
Who
says that?
John Stark.
That's Epic Torch.
Yeah,
it's one of mine. Yeah, it's one of mine, but it might be John's. Yeah,
I think you mentioned it before.
Because I love How to Train Your Dragon trilogy is my favorite, but that's not Pixar. That's DreamWorks. So yeah, I think Wally's my favorite too.
Yeah, that's probably, of all the princesses and all that are in Disney, my favorite romance. Yeah, Wally. Wally probably wins. I'm sorry, Ariel.
Wally. It's so cute. It's adorable. It's adorable.
Yeah.
John also said for cheesy, fun romance, I'll go with French Kiss. I like French
yes.
Kiss.
Yeah, me too.
Good. It's a good wine movie. It's a wine movie, basically.
Mhm.
Overboard is not a romantic comedy. It's a movie about brainwash and rape. And then Mystery Date. I never heard of that, but I've heard of Blind Date with Bruce Willis and Kim Basinger. I don't understand how they end up at the end of that movie, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, I think that's it for correct. Oh yeah, Wally is his favorite. Yes.
Nice.
What would be Pixar like? Oh wait, is The Incredibles Pixar?
Yeah.
I think I like The Incredibles 1 first and then Wally second for me, but because I love the first Incredibles movie.
Yeah, me too.
But Wally is just deep and wonderful, and yeah. But
I think the first 20 minutes of Wall-E is the greatest silent film in the last 100 years.
yeah, dude. Yeah, it kind of falls off a little bit when you get the fat people floating around in
Well,
the
but that's
air.
part of it. It's the commentary on society, on
Yeah, I
on
like
how
that.
we're just stuck.
No, I
in our
get it,
bones
but
all
it
the
just gets a
Idiocracy in space.
it just gets a little hokey at that point. But I understand it needed to be there. Yeah.
But I want one of those chairs.
See,
Don't
so
get me
They
wrong.
exist now, dude. I'm
it
sure
might
they-
look hokey, but it could be reality. If you're stuck in space, your bone, it's just a matter of fact that your muscle, if you don't work out, your muscles
Atrophy
will
plus the
atrophy,
radiation.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
why
trust
the
me.
Fantastic Four is a true story.
I photograph. I
Mr.
won't
Stretch.
get into my job, but I photograph some bed sores from here and there.
Huh.
And so I know about like people that can't get out of their seats.
Yeah. That's not good.
What is that, Bobek?
That is a humidifier. The new ones. They're like they used to be hot steam. Now it's cold steam. You got to try it. It's amazing.
I thought it was
wow.
an Iron Man helmet for a second. There.
Yeah, my wife can't unscrew things, so I got to break out the guns.
You can do it.
Mwah, mwah.
So yeah, this was a lot of fun. Jill, I appreciate you being here. I loved your movie selections. I loved Joanne's. I loved Scotty's. I loved Bob X. This was a lot of fun.
Mine more though, right?
And I hope that all you lucky SOBs that are out there with your men or your women, your significant others on Friday, feel lucky that Valentine's Day is on a Friday. So you can actually go out and get them drunk first.
Oh, yeah. I should get grandma to babysit.
And yeah, we hope you enjoyed our discussion with the romance movies. I'm sure there's a million of them we haven't talked about.
Oh yeah, but we got a lot of good ones in there.
Oh
We
yeah,
got a lot
I
of good
definitely had a few more.
List them. Say 'em.
Listen, well, because I'm going on a journey lately of watching all of the James Bond movies, and the best romance so far is on Her Majesty's Secret Service,
shut up.
which was because he actually gets married. I wasn't expecting James Bond to get married. That was
How long did
really,
that
it really
last?
threw me off. Well, until that mean bitch shot Deanna Riggs.
Yeah, so she got shot because like you don't want to be a Bond girl. They die fast. They always die.
Yeah, I know, but Diana Riggs is so beautiful and so fun, and I had
What
learned
movie
of
did he
her
get
on.
married in? I didn't know he got married.
Her Majesty's Service.
Oh, the one with George Lazenby. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was sad, but it was good. And there was good chemistry. They had a good time until she died.
As it usually goes.
Yeah. And the other one I had actually goes along with Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is kind of a video game. Well, not really, but Shaun of the Dead was
Oh yeah.
of a an every
Well, that was,
day
that
kind of
was a love
man.
story between friendship, right? Like the two guys.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
that's-
there's a bromance and a romance.
Oh, the romance was kind of shallow. Where I thought like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg's romance was like way more poignant. But anyway, sorry.
Fine, that's fine. I just like killing zombies. But
Hey, just gotta throw out there.
Who doesn't?
If we're talking about
it kind of elevates his
zombie-
life.
If we're talking about zombie romance, how about Warm Bodies? You guys ever seen Warm Bodies?
Yes,
No, I've heard about it though.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard about it.
It's fun. It's fun. It's like the zombie who's like trying to pick up on the chick, and he's like, just be cool, just like say something cool, like just like don't fuck it up, and like walks up and he's like,
That's the boy from About a Boy too.
it's fun. It's fun.
It is.
How about a social? Drink everybody. We can do about 3 seconds of dead time. That's it. That's all we can do.
That's all we can afford.
So Ben, I love all of this. This is amazing. Rom-com's not my thing, but I'm really glad to because I like 5 of them. So we got 5 out there. This is so much fun. But really, what I'm wondering is what's coming up next weekend. Are we going to do like a President's Day? Like your favorite movies about presidents? Because I've got a few of those. Probably more than romantics.
I would love to do Air Force One, Dave, American President. Yeah, there's got to be a lot of
The Manchurian Candidate. Anyone?
Manchurian,
Anyone?
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Oh,
of course, Lincoln.
right, Lincoln. Doesn't
Absolutely
he kill
love
zombies?
Lincoln.
Zombie killer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Vampire
Abraham
Hunter.
Lincoln, Vampire Killer. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Just curious, what's coming up on next week's agenda there?
Well, if so John is saying disaster movies next week. Well, if you're here,
I mean, if you're into politics,
if you're on the show, we'll do disaster movies for show. That sounds fun. I don't know if there's a disaster movie coming up. I think there is. Oh, that's right. He already told me there's like a Woody Harrelson, like a a diving movie coming up or something. So that might be interesting, but we'll look into it. But yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. I love disaster movies. I mean, they suck, but they're fun. I mean, for the most part. I mean, I do.
When I say I didn't like it, it's not that I didn't like it.
That's what I mean. It's like I like them, but I don't like them. If that
Exactly.
makes sense. I'll let Scotty explain it. Anyway, anybody have any last movies or words about romance?
Three
Star Wars.
movie too.
Well, no, the first Star Wars has no romance. Empire Strikes Back is very romantic. You know, with
You're not my sister.
President movies. I don't know if I want to go there. I'd rather do disaster movies,
Lincoln.
John.
John Adams. We're going to do miniseries as well.
Oh
I will
God.
be giving a lecture. I have a 2-hour lecture with
That'll have
PowerPoint
to be
ready.
an edit. That'll have to be an edited video for sure.
Yeah. We'll cut it down to 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I can deal with that.
I'm gonna roll you into a little ball and shove you up my vagina.
All right. So thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it. And Jill, once again, everybody join Jill's stream. Subscribe to her channel, Anti-Derivative Jill. It's amazing. She does shore leave on Fridays, right, Jill?
Yeah, shore leave is an open topic, but I don't do it every Friday. But I am going to do it this Saturday for my 3rd year anniversary for my channel. So I'm going to celebrate that I've been on YouTube for 3 years.
Oh. I would love to join you. Well, what time are you doing that?
I'm starting at 10 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Cool.
So
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
3
No.
years. That's great.
Yeah, it's been 3, right? It also says, hey, how long have I been doing this? Is this the thing that I should continue doing? Of course, it's fun. I enjoy it.
That's awesome.
And on Friday is Valentine's Day itself. So we're going to talk about some terrible next generation romance episodes. Two of them. One of them from season 1, which is widely regarded as a bad season, which I'll make a shorter video one day saying, hey, season 1 isn't that bad. But this is one bad one from season 1, which is called We'll Always Have Paris. And that's one. And then we also will cover the more infamous Sub Rosa.
I like TNG season 1, but that's
I do too. But I think it's interesting that we picked 2 episodes where these are separate romances for both Beverly Crusher and Picard, who themselves also have a history, which we'll probably get into.
Will they? Won't they?
Ross and Rachel, yo.
Exactly, Ross.
They
and
certainly
we were on a break.
They certainly won't become geriatric and have a son named Jack. I can tell you that much.
Oh no, they do. It's canon, but we'll talk about that on Friday.
All right, guys. We drink your cinema. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Go out and have all the sex.
Illuminate
Go out and have
masturbate.
all the sex.
Yeah. So seductive. I'll take you to the candy shop. I'll let you lick the lollipop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep on going till you hit the spot. Oh, you can have it your way. How do you want it? Gonna back that thing up or should I push up on it? Break it down for you now, baby, it's simple. You be an info, I'll be an info. Got the magic stick, I'm the love doctor. Your friends teasing me about a sprung, I got you. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep on going till you hit the spot. Fucking give it to me, baby, nice and slow. Climb on top, ride it like you in the rodeo.